XRP has to be one of the most exciting and bullish crypto projects out there right now, hands down. I know everyone has their favorite, and that's totally fine. But honestly, I just don't see anything else that's quite on the same level as XRP at the moment. In this video, I want to dive into a few things. First, I really want to highlight how bullish the entire crypto market is right now. It's such a great time to be paying attention, but I also want to put a special focus on XRP, starting with the XRP case. Let's take a quick trip back to when the case was first announced. And just so you're following along, we're looking at monthly candles here all the way back to December 2020. Can you believe it's been almost 5 years since the announcement? In December, it would have officially been 5 years. That's 4.5 years, 4 years and 6 months of pressure just building up behind XRP. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? I'm bringing this up because the case is basically done at this point. Now, if you're serious about XRP or any crypto trading, here's your power move. Sign up to Bybit using my exclusive link below. Not only do you get a welcome bonus, but you'll also help support the channel so we can keep bringing you top tier XRP insights before anyone else. It takes 30 seconds, no KYC for spot trading, and you can deposit XRP directly while it's smooth, fast, and secure. Check that link below and get started now. Don't miss out on those trading bonuses while they last. We're going to dive into that, but I also want to touch on the altcoin market. Let's be real. Alt season isn't here yet. Right now, we're in Bitcoin season, and XRP is still holding strong at over $2. How bullish is that? XRP is over $2 while we're in Bitcoin season, and the biggest part of the cycle is still ahead of us. That's when we typically see the biggest moves in altcoins, and XRP is already at this level. It's wild. All right, let's talk about XRP and Bitcoin. While we're waiting for alt season to officially kick off, it's worth keeping an eye on the XRP/Bitcoin pair. Like I mentioned, we're still in Bitcoin season, but XRP is really tightening up on that pair. It's like it's gearing up for a big breakout. Here's the exciting part. This looks like we're building up to something major. We've been in this brewing phase since January, which means we're now 162 days into this downtrend. For some perspective, the previous downtrend from July 2023 to November lasted 488 days. And when it finally broke, XRP surged 406% off the low. Here's why this is important. The longer we move sideways, the bigger the breakout we'll see in a shorter time frame. Right now, we've been stuck in this wedge for 162 days without making a new all-time high. In fact, we've been moving sideways for years, since 2018. And even if you look at the highs from 2021, that's still over 1,500 days of sideways and downward trends. That's a long time, right? But here's the thing. When we finally break out of this pattern and push past those previous highs, XRP could absolutely skyrocket in value. So remember that post I shared with you guys the other day, the one where I said people have no idea what's coming to this market? All I could say was higher, much higher. That was back on the 25th when things were looking a little shaky. Fast forward to now, we're sitting at about 3.28 trillion, nothing too wild yet, but let's focus on the key points I've been talking about. First, the M2 supply has hit new all-time highs. Check. The trade war is calming down. I'll dive into that in just a sec. Money market funds still sitting at historic levels. Another check. Institutional players are driving crypto adoption. Yep. We're seeing that too. Bitcoin dominance, it's nearing macro resistance levels, and retail interest, according to Google Trends, still at all-time lows. People just aren't paying attention. Meanwhile, Bitcoin and stocks are getting closer and closer to hitting new all-time highs. Let's talk about what's happening right now, because it's big. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ just hit record highs. Yep, we're looking at brand new all-time highs. Here's where the S&P 500 stands, 61.73 with a high of nearly 62. Pretty exciting, right? This is a super bullish signal. Why? Well, the last time we hit a new all-time high, it was coming off the July highs and happened back in September. After that, the market took off. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Crypto doesn't move in lockstep with the stock market. It tends to lag a little. So while the market was hitting new highs, crypto was still playing catch up. But when it does catch up, things get wild. That's exactly what's shaping up here. Bitcoin is just under its all-time highs, and it's only a matter of time before things heat up. Most old coins are still holding steady while stocks just hit a new all-time high again. At the same time, the dollar continues to slide downward. Right now, I'm expecting the dollar to keep selling off for a bit, then bounce back up, forming a nice higher low. This kind of price action feels pretty similar to what we saw back in May and even January 2021. But here's the kicker. The dollar is really weak right now, which makes this a great time to focus on risk on assets. They're shaping up to be an incredibly bullish opportunity. The crazy part? Hardly anyone is paying attention. Meanwhile, XRP is making some serious moves. Big news, everyone. There have been some major updates, and I'm excited to break them down for you. First things first, clarity. I mentioned this just the other day, but now it's official. The Clarity Act is here, and the timing couldn't be better. This comes from the Financial Services GOP, who highlighted a post by David Sachs, which I covered in a recent video. Here's the timeline. The bill is being introduced before the August recess, with a markup scheduled for the first week of September, and it's expected to be finalized by the end of September. This year, we'll have clarity and progress locked in. It's wild to think that we're just 2 short months away from this becoming a reality. Regulations are shifting, stocks are hitting new highs, and the dollar is super weak. Honestly, the whole setup right now is just wild. Now, let's circle back to what I mentioned earlier, trade deals. Remember the trade war and tariffs that had everyone so worried? Well, here's the latest. U.S. Commerce Secretary Letnick announced that the U.S.-China trade deal was officially signed 2 days ago on the 24th. On top of that, President Trump confirmed yesterday that he signed the deal with China. Funny enough, there wasn't much fanfare or a big announcement at the time, but it's official. The deal is done. Pretty interesting, right? Let's dive into what this could mean.
Jameson, everybody wants to make a deal and have a part of it, right? I know you and Howard and Scott are working overtime, making deals with other countries. Remember a few months ago, the press was saying, do you really have anybody of any interest? Well, we just signed with China yesterday, right? Just signed with China. We have everybody. We're not going to make deals with everybody. Some we're just going to send them a letter, say, thank you very much. You're going to pay 25, 35, 45%. That's the easy way to do it. And my people don't want to do it that way. They want to do some of it, but they want to make more deals than I would do. But we're having some great deals. We have one coming up, maybe with India, very big one, where we're going to open up India.
We're seeing more and more trade deals happening between the US and other countries. And honestly, it's super exciting, especially since it feels like no one's really paying attention right now. Remember when everyone was panicking about this? Well, look where we are now. Stocks are hitting all-time highs. Crypto is inching closer to its peak. The dollar remains weak and crypto regulations are finally approaching a green light. All of this points to one thing, a very bullish outlook. Sure, some of these factors may be lagging, but the signs are clear. And there's a lot to feel optimistic about, and it's giving us a good idea of what we need to be ready for. Let's talk about XRP and why it's making waves right now. Robinhood just rolled out new crypto futures for XRP, along with Solana and Bitcoin Friday futures. These come with lower margin requirements and smooth execution through their trading ladder, making it easier than ever to get involved. This big move ties back to the recent Ripple versus SEC updates. If you missed it, Judge Torres denied Ripple's overall injunction, leaving Ripple with 2 options. Either drop their appeal, challenging the ruling on past institutional sales, or move forward with it. The good news, XRP's legal status remains unchanged. It's still not considered a security. So it's business as usual for XRP, and the future's looking bright. So here's the big news. Judge Torres has denied the party's motion for an indicative ruling. But today we got an even bigger update. Ripple is officially dropping its cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal too, just like they said they would. Of course, this all had to happen on a Friday, so now we'll have to wait until Monday for the final wrap up. But the best part, we're finally closing this chapter for good and shifting our focus back to what really matters, building the internet of value. Let's stay locked in and keep moving forward. Oh, and shout out to the 74% of you who knew how this case would end. You were right. So here's the scoop. Judge Torres just gave them 2 choices. Either they withdraw the appeals and let the case stand as is, meaning it's over, or they move forward with the appeals process, basically end the case or keep appealing. Fun fact, Ripple seems to love Thursdays. What do you think they'll do? Honestly, it looks like the case is wrapping up now, and that's a super bullish signal. Guys, can you believe it? 4.5 years. Let me say that again. 4.5 years we've been waiting for this moment. Something huge is happening behind the scenes with Ripple, and it's starting to show. Arthur Brito just reappeared out of nowhere right as the entire US market is opening up. Plus, we're seeing big moves on the regulatory front. Digital assets are finally getting the attention they deserve. Crypto is front and center these days, and now there's even talk about tying crypto to mortgages. Everything happening with crypto right now, both in the US and globally, is sending us a strong message. We should be more bullish. Honestly, we're not bullish enough. I really believe we're on the verge of seeing this market wake up in a big way. And to make things even more exciting, Ripple just announced they're planning multiple acquisitions and Ethereum-like upgrades to the XRP ledger blockchain. Take a look at this. Ripple is making some big moves with multiple acquisitions in the works. Earlier this year, they bought prime broker Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, and they're not stopping there. They're gearing up to enhance the XRP ledger with new features like increased programmability and a lending protocol set to roll out in Q3. Ripple is also using acquisitions like crypto custody firms Medico and Standard Custody to strengthen their cross-border payment systems and their stablecoin ROUSD. While traditional finance giants might not be jumping in just yet, Ripple is seizing the opportunity to build an ecosystem with serious value. The XRP ledger is stepping up its game. While it's still tightly controlled, it's evolving to include smart contracts and greater flexibility, striking a balance between security and programmability. Ripple has been busy too. They rolled out some exciting updates in June, like tokenized treasuries, a decentralized exchange, and a partnership with Wormhole to make cross-chain asset transfers a breeze. Oh, and let's not forget, they made waves back in April by acquiring Hidden Road for a whopping $1.25 billion. In June, Ripple announced an exciting new partnership with Wormhole, and it's clear that 2025 is shaping up to be a huge year for Ripple and XRP. Honestly, when you look at what's happening, XRP and Ripple are operating on a whole new level. With multiple acquisitions in the works to support the XRP ledger and XRP itself, it's time to buckle up. This year is going to be massive, not just for XRP, but for crypto as a whole. As we look ahead, crypto, including XRP, is set to grow and expand in ways we've never seen before. We're talking about a surge of money flowing into the space, whether it's through stablecoins, tokenization, or XRP. On top of that, the investments coming from both institutions and retail investors are ramping up fast. And don't forget about ETFs. They're part of this growing momentum too. Now that this case is pretty much wrapped up, what's holding back XRP ETFs? There's really no reason for any delays now. I truly believe we're about to see a big shift for XRP, and I couldn't be more excited. It's been 4.5 years, but I'm confident the wait will be worth it. Right now, we're at $2.13, and alt season hasn't even kicked off properly yet. Stocks are hitting all-time highs, trade deals are happening, regulations are rolling in, things are lining up for something big. In my opinion, we're headed much higher from here. Thanks for watching. If you got value from this breakdown, drop a like, subscribe for real XRP updates, and don't forget to check out Bybit using my link below. You get a deposit bonus, and it helps this channel grow. Win, win.